You know, I've been quiet for a long time. Started open my mouth again, and I hope that I burn bridges in the right way this time. Let's put it that way. This is stream of consciousness rambling. This isn't super. This is not thought out at all. This is the first one just to fucking preface what this is gonna be. I care about the world deeply. I care about people a lot. And I feel like I do have something to share with the world. So instead of being quiet anymore, I speak my truth in some long format videos. Put them in a place where you can choose to listen to my rambles, and I may or may not get out coherent thoughts. It might be just fucking rambling. It might be little fucking golden nuggets, and that might help you fucking understand shit a little better. Or I could just sound like fucking Riley, like a Riley soliloquy from Sublime. And that's a reference to excerpts from Robin the Hood. And it's just this dude who's in a nut house rambling about shit. And like, I understand what he's saying, and that's the funny part. But because it was the time and place, they just locked him up and like, you're fucking crazy. They did the same thing to the singer of Rudimentary Peni. You know, I listen to his songs, and I'm like, damn, that fool had a very deep understanding of the world, but because it did not fit into any box at the time that he was around, he was put into a nut house, you know? So, like I said, you may find nuggets of information in here, or it might just sound like a rambling nut job. Both are okay with me, because at the end of the day, I don't really believe in a right or wrong, and all I'm trying to do with this is convince people to A, care about themselves, so that in turn they can care about others. Because like I said, I care about the world a lot, and I realized that my love was half-assed and shitty. Even though I cared so much about others, the love I could provide was only as good as the love I gave to myself, and I was very bad at loving myself. So yeah, fucking I used to be an arrogant asshole, telling everybody we need to come together and do shit, and all I did was burn bridges in the bad way. You know, lost a lot of people. But in turn, that brought a space in my life to bring in people who are going to push me towards who I wanted to be, as opposed to who I was by association with all those other people. Because I didn't know what I wanted, but I was just out there living life and experiencing things, and eventually, you know, I got to a point where I was like, all right, like, the goal isn't to worry about everybody else and what everybody else is doing, just take care of myself first and foremost, and that's where I'm at. So yeah. That's fucking, like I said, stream of consciousness. This may be coherent, this may not be, but we outside a lot, and I've had a lot of time to see all the different type of people out there, people that I care about, from rich people, like, you know, this is like a lot of spruce lore, to just kind of like give you guys a sense of my perspective and where it comes from and why I see things the way I do. Like, you know, I've been homeless. I've chilled with some very crazy individuals. And it's just like having that broad perspective on humanity. We all like to put everybody in these little boxes and pretend we're all different from each other. And at the end of the day, we're really very similar. And I've been searching for years to find an idea that we can all come together as a people, not as different groups of people, but an understanding of what's the core that ties us all together. You know what I'm saying? And I studied a lot of different shit, and I try to make a lot of moralistic claims and reasonings of why we should care about each other. And I learned that morals are all based on shifting feelings. And I got very frustrated that I couldn't find some sense of moralistic justice, aka I'm a Libra, some moralistic justice that people would understand with their thoughts to make them want to come together. And I spent a lot of time researching religious philosophies, and eventually I stumbled back on a phrase, Betul Hayesh, which is tattooed on my wrist. Betul Hayesh. It was in one of the first books I read. The Why God Won't Go Away. The neurobiology of belief. So it was like actual trying to understand what the brain was going through while it was creating religious experiences. And so they talked about a bunch of different religious experiences. One of them was the Jewish ritual of Betul Hayesh, which is annihilate the ego. I'm a very punk rock person. I came from a place of chaos and destruction and madness. So the idea of annihilation resonated with me. In fact, funny enough, the sweater that I wear while I work on all my shit literally has hand-stitched annihilation right there. Because that's just fucking punk rock. That's my punk rock sweater. It has a bunch of punks patches on it. So this is after like looking into Buddhism, Taoism, this, that, and just not resonating with any of those philosophies, just hitting walls in every one. I came back to that phrase and I was like, fuck yeah, let's see what's up with that, because I was trying to find answers, so I was just open to different philosophies. Like, alright, well, fucking Jewish shit, let's crack it open, see what's good, homies. And yeah, I found some interesting, like, I don't know, it was weird. It was like Jewish people slanging Jewish knowledge, but it was this weird, like culty version, you know what I'm saying? Because actually, this tattoo right here is Buddha sleeping on a pile of money. Because one of the things that pissed me off about Buddhism is I read a book that said that Buddha wants them to worship him in golden temples. I was like, oh, that just, ugh. I was like, nope, cool. Like, if that's what you get from Buddhism, I gotta check out, like that does not make sense to me, so deuces. Yeah, tangented a little bit there, but that's why. So the first Kabbalah, I was researching it, I could taste, I was like, this makes sense, but there's this, like, strings attached, like they were filling you up with a bunch of mumbo jumbo that made you feel like you knew what you were talking about. There was some concrete shit in the beginning, and then once you got, like, super esoteric, it didn't feel like they were giving you anything of sustenance, of substance. They like a bunch of foo-foo. So I was like, I don't like this. So I kind of I got into it deep, bro, and I was eating my own bullshit, like fucking all these big words that I thought I understood, but I had no idea what the fuck they were talking about back then. But I was really intrigued, and part of that was there's no giving, was one of the things I took from that philosophy. And that they study Kabbalah, which is literally translates to reception. So it's the study of receiving, not giving. There is no such thing as giving, but we want to believe there's giving. So we like create the idea that we have given. But I'm not gonna get into the details of that, but I'm just trying to say that's like for the most part what I ascertained from that concrete level shit that they were giving at the beginning before they got all esoteric and foo-foo. So like that really pushed me in the direction that led me to the next step, which was I was like, there's no giving, there's no such thing as good deeds, right? And this philosophy that I am listening to. And I choose to go to the mountains and pick up trash and tell everyone we're not doing good deeds. We're up here partying. So we do a shit ton of drugs, and then we pick up trash in the morning. So the place would look 10 times better. Yeah, so that was the idea. Let's go spruce it up. And people would argue with me, and they're like, no, we're doing a good deed. We're doing a good deed. And along with that, and every time we go up there, it was just as trash as the week before. Went for 2 months every Tuesday, and every Tuesday it was just fucked. And I was just like, damn, we're not making any change at all. We're getting fucked up and we're having a good time. It's fun. You know, that's what I was up there for. But I wanted to do a good deed that didn't exist. And that's where I started seeing like, oh, even though you've acknowledged this, you're still trying for it so hard. You're trying to make it that you're in control doing something. You know? That's what we all want to be, is in control doing something. And, yeah. So, I did that whole thing, got real discouraged. But in the meantime, I was trying to make community, trying to reach out to people and branch away from the homies from high school. Because I think I was like 22, 23 at this point, and I was just following the homies. Like, homies were running shit in LA. They knew all the cool kids, throwing all the cool parties at all the cool bars. And yeah, I'd just be like, fuck you, Larry, where are we going? Larry'd be like, we're going to like 2-3 parties tonight. And I'd be like, bet. And I was just a designated drunk driver. Buying all the booze, buying all the drugs, and taking us to the parties. I didn't know where they were. Larry did, and that's all that mattered to me. So I got sick of just following Larry all the time and wanted to experience life on my own. And that's when I started doing the trash picking. Also, by the time I was taking shit tons of acid, so I was like, shh. And Larry showed me the Zeitgeist movie when I was frying balls. So the Zeitgeist movie fucking really pushed me into some spiritual shit real hard with all that acid real fast. So that's where all the Kabbalah and picking up trash and everything stems from. And then at a certain point, like 3 years in, like I'm like, Larry, how have you seen this movie and you're not like compelled to want to like change the world? And he's like, oh, everything's just fucked, bro. He was a nihilist. And he's like, no, it's fucked. We're just gonna party. I was like, what? I thought that's what we're doing. We're just partying and getting fucked up. And I was like, oh no, I want to be better. This hurts. And he's like, oh no, bet. Peace out. So I had met a bunch of people because I sold a bunch of drugs. So I met like a lot of artists through the fucking adventures through LA. And I was the plug for a handful of people. Like literally this acid tattoo is because I sold acid at the art house. The queer art house. And they literally would just invite me over there because I'd give them drugs, bro. Like, I saw that at the end of it. But from that experience, being in that house for like a year and getting to know those people, they were into tarot cards, astrology, and Wicca for Wiccan, right? So I was fucking kind of getting drawn back into esoteric shit, and I was like, oh, fuck, you know? And I started reading astrology, and it started making sense. I was like, damn, that's fucking crazy. Bet. And so I started digging into that. And that led me to ritual magic and Kabbalah again. But this completely different Kabbalah. And I was like, got all fucking curious again. So I started digging into that shit hard. And I found the Tree of Life and all this, like, breakdown. I was like, oh, and it started making sense. There wasn't this right or wrong. It wasn't moralistic. It wasn't fucking You're not trying to do anything for anybody else. You're just trying to learn how to receive the message from the universe for you to do what you need to do for the world. And I was like, bet. I was like, and it started breaking down the metaphors of Christianity, which I grew up in. I grew up in a Catholic church, so like it started making sense of all this shit that was already in my mind. Or like Buddhism and Taoism and all this Eastern philosophy. I don't have any of that preconceived fucking knowledge of those gods or anything or how they operate mentally. So it was like trying to shove fucking Mac, like a Mac running like Mac fucking software on a Windows fucking like on a PC. It just doesn't mix, you know what I'm saying? It's like computers like, I don't know how to read this shit, dog. What the fuck? But then this Kabbalah and ritual magic was like Christianity fucking breakdown. It was like the metaphors started fucking poof, 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 poof. I was like, oh, bet. Fucking bet, right? Like I got this tattoo of a fucking the crucifix scene to talk shit about Christianity, and I like it was in my brain. I was like, why am I hate fucking Christianity? Same with this fucking flag, you know, like fuck America, but like what's in it is not pro-America at all. And this fucking crucifixion has symbolism in it that would allude to me not believing that Jesus is the savior. And then I realized by studying this other ritual magic Kabbalah that the story of Jesus is a metaphor of how you sacrifice your own ego on the cross. And then you go down to your own personal hell and fight your own personal demons by letting go of control and realizing that that's the real evil, as you wanting to control everything because of your ego. And then you can take that step back and see it wanting control. And that third person perspective right there allows you to tap in. And by the time I found that perspective, I had already installed hella bad autopilots. And it's taken me about 8 years since I started finding all this to be at a place where I'm even starting to actualize any of the knowledge I've ascertained. And yeah, so pretty sure the story was I ramble. I'm gonna try to share my perspective and where it comes from. Eastern philosophy didn't click. Weird, shitty Kabbalah didn't click. Ritual magic started making sense. I think that's kind of like where we can leave it for now. Yeah, because, well, I'll go for 2 more minutes. So, I read a bunch of books about ritual magic, and then started kind of dabbling into like Jewish stuff, and then I realized their methodology, like the actual Torah, and how they teach Kabbalah within their religious structure is very, very intense. And that, me personally, again, installed a bunch of shitty autopilots, haven't taken care of myself. My best bet is the ritual magic English breakdown, because the Jewish methodology is, I'd have to learn Hebrew, I'd have to study the Torah for years to start understanding the metaphors behind the language, which I tried, bro. I wrote Hebrew letters. I got like a notebook around here, and I like after like 6-7 months, I was like, there's no way like I'm gonna like be able to dig this deep. Like my best bet at this point with what I've done to myself is to just focus on food and shelter and like fucking finding a companion to live with, you know? And like let's see if I can get that on lockdown, and then we'll worry about the next step, you know? But that's part of it, was like I was reading all this knowledge. This is a good place to end it. I was reading all this knowledge, and I thought I knew what the fuck was up, and then the books hit me good with a fucking curveball. They're like, hey, by the way, if you're just reading book after book and you're not doing shit with the knowledge, you're just fucking mentally stroking yourself off. That's all. You're feeding your ego more knowledge. And what we're trying to get to is faith. We're trying to get past thinking you are in control. That, yeah. So, that was a good one. I put the books down. And now I'm trying to act out what the fuck I read in those books, which is eat good food, fucking exercise, take care of your vessel, learn to love yourself, and that translates to love of friends. And your friends are not your fucking acquaintances. There's a very clear distinction. Your friends are the people who understand how important food and water is. Your friends are the ones who encourage you to take care of yourself. Your friends are not the ones that go and fuck off with you. Those are your acquaintances. And that's cool. Have as many acquaintances as you can fucking have. But remember, friends are focused on food and shelter. That's it. If they are not focused on food and shelter and taking care of themselves, they are not your friend. They are somebody that you can go fuck off with. And that is totally cool. But just know the difference. And I love you all. And that was the beginning of this video. I care about people so fucking much. And that's why I'll sit here and ramble and fucking risk looking like a fucking crazy nut job sharing all this shit, because I truly feel it will help all of us come together so we can all be friends, encourage each other to take care of our vessels, and go party when it's proper. So, spruce out, dog. Let's fucking do this shit.